So, we're back to PlayStation's exclusives, huh? Let's see, we haven't done Spider-Man yet. That's pretty topical with Spider-Man Miles Morales. We haven't done God of War yet. Don't really want to replay that one. I'm probably just going to wait for Ragnarok to review that first game. The Uncharted series is a possibility, but I just did a whole retrospective series on an entire series last time. Days Gone. Yeah, why not? Oh god, it's another Sony-published zombie game. Fuck! Hi there, my name is Potatoes953, and I just spent a week of my life playing a game with a motorcycle that doesn't break the second another person jumps on it. Wait! No! My motorcycle! Days Gone is the zombie game The Last of Us 2 should have been if Neil Druckmann actually gave a shit about making an enjoyable game. It was released. Wait, what the fuck is a Days Gone? Said everyone who bought Resident Evil 2, Devil May Cry 5, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the snooze fest known as Death Stranding, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Kingdom Hearts 3, Gears of War 5, or Borderlands 3. Well, believe it or not, there were more games that released in 2019 that weren't a sequel, remake of a pre-established IP, or a game that was guaranteed success due to a developer or director. Days Gone happens to be one of those. Days Gone is an open-world game set in a post-apocalyptic landscape of Oregon that sets itself apart from other zombie games by the sheer amount of zombies that can be shown on screen without lag. Sure, Dead Rising might have something to say to that, but apparently the hordes in that game only stand around 50 strong, and all of the zombies are just shamblers. And then, of course, the World War Z game, which came out after Days Gone, that achieves around the same amount of zombies and is online. However, it doesn't have to deal with zombie variants, human AI, or animal AI that the Days Gone has to track. It further distinguishes itself from other light RPG zombie games by being an open world game with an emphasis on story and characters. So, Days Gone. Is it good? Or is it a game you should skip? Well, let's find out. You play as Deacon St. John, a Afghanistan veteran turned biker gang member, as he and his friend Boozer try to survive the zombie post-apocalypse. One of the things I really liked about this game's story was the fact that I can summarize the entire story, without spoiling, while spoiling very little, so I'll do that right now to prove my point. This'll come back later. Trust me. Boozer gets his arm burnt to shit. Deacon goes and keeps Boozer alive by allying nearby settlements until he stumbles upon the government coming out of hiding. He then goes chasing the government to find information on his presumably dead wife, Sarah. You go kill a cult real quick because they're after Deacon and Boozer. Get more information on Sarah. Surprise! She's alive! Now Deacon goes and travels south to find the militia. A militia group. You find her, stumble upon a government conspiracy, because of course you can't have a zombie game without a government conspiracy. Oh great, the obviously insane leader of the militia was insane. Now go kill the militia, and you get a happy ending. I just summed up the entire story of the game without spoiling very much, aside from the fact that Sarah is alive. And I think that's a very good thing. So many games make an overly complicated story and are worse because of that, and it's simply for the sake of story. And they forget what makes a story-based video game, work, which is the gameplay, which is why BioShock works. And that's the reason why and the simplistic story really works for Days Gone, not The Last of Us. And I think the simplistic story is also why people really like The Last of Us 1. Because the story is so simplistic that you can summarize it very easily, yet it's open enough that it leads to very, very in-depth characters and likable characters, which is what, again, Days Gone does. I feel like Days Gone is really a spiritual successor to The Last of Us over anything else, because it takes what The Last of Us did and then it puts good gameplay to add to it. If you summarize The Last of Us or Days Gone, you don't fill in the whole picture, which allows for you to summarize it very easily, and yet leave it for someone coming into it with just that summarization to not understand the story very much at all because of the characters, other than the general story arcs. I read the Metacritic reviews by the actual critics, and a lot of them agreed with me. However, some did not. And they gave Days Gone a 7 out of 10. And I went and checked on their scores on games that put story first and gameplay second, like specifically The Last of Us 2 and Detroit Become Human, and they gave it shiny 9s and 10s. Here's the deal. Days Gone prioritizes gameplay and relatable, believable characters over an overarching story, and is better off because of it. Now on to the gameplay, because I think that this game really succeeds, where The Last of Us failed in engaging, fun gameplay. The gameplay is extremely similar to other third-person shooters, in that it encourages shooting from waist-high cover. However, you must be much more aggressive with gunfights in this game, because unlike something like The Last of Us or Uncharted, you need gunfights to end very quickly because of the way that the zombies work in this game. Much like a tabletop miniatures game called Last Days, as you and your enemies fight and make noise, i.e. gunshots and explosions, zombies and animals, like wolves, will start to move into your area, and eventually you will end with zombies and or wolves attacking you and your enemies. This is bad because if you are in the wrong area, you can attract a horde into the area while you're trying to finish an objective. While I'm at it, I am going to compliment the gunplay in this game, because I happen to really like third-person shooters gunplay, not gameplay. Or I do like their gameplay. And I especially like this game's gunplay because of a simple option in the settings, gyro aim. This changes a lot because it allows for nailing headshots easier, and simply by making it so that you don't need to make tight adjustments with the analog stick. Where in The Last of Us 1 and 2, I gave up on getting headshots because I was wasting so much ammo by missing. In this game, I got them all day long. In one of my one and only gripes about the gyro aim in this game is with the snipers. The sensitivity is too high. To the point where I was zoomed into the scope, I would exclusively use the stick, and then the slightest itty-bitty little movement from the controller, oops, I'm shooting into the mountain. It got so annoying to the point where I ditched snipers altogether, even though they're very, very nice to have while fighting human enemies. It really wasn't worth it to me to have to deal with that. So, yeah. We're gonna go to zombies now, because zombies are interesting in this game because they're interesting. The way that zombies work in this game is great, because it truly feels unsafe at all times when out and about in the open world. Because you know that at any time, in the middle of killing some raiders, there's a possibility of a large group of zombies showing up. Oh, then just stay on your bike. Well, with the better engines, yeah, you can run away from most enemies very easily. Well, aside from the runners, which are mutated wolves that will chase you relentlessly until they either knock you off your bike or you kill them all. In addition to with the motorcycle, it works if you're just driving around. But if you're trying to achieve an objective, yeah, you can't do that for obvious reasons. I'm going to explain all of the zombie variants now. There are the screamers that will scream extremely loudly if they spot you, to bring attention to you from nearby enemies. So basically and it also gives you shell shockness, which is interesting in this game because it depletes your stamina and makes your vision weird. Basically, if you just hear singing or humming, just stay in the shadows, and you'll be fine. There are the breakers, which have mutated them to be much larger, bulky, and they're super strong. There are the runners, which are the at their core the standard shamblers of this game, but they can run, making them far more deadly than just shamblers. There are the bleachers, which are albino runners, which have mutated to make to be able to take more of a beating. There are the criers, which are zombie crows that are annoying as shit and nothing more. There's the rager, which is a zombie bear that will attack you on sight which is different from normal bears, which will only attack you if you attack them. And then there's the reacher, which can run stupidly fast, enough to keep up with a bike, with your bike, and can hit you from a distance with long arms. And they also have the durability of the bleacher. So they're not really that hard to kill if they're within a group, but they can be if they're alone, because they run so fast and they run around in circles around you. There's even a boss fighting one, but it's not really a big issue. And finally, what you probably know this game for, there is the newts. These are zombie children that will only attack you if they feel provoked, or they feel that you are you're not paying attention to them. A lot of people had a problem with this game because specifically advocacy groups, because you're killing children, right? But they're not really children because they're zombies. It's dumb. People are dumb sometimes. Sometimes these advocacy groups just really make me wish I was not the same species as them. But regardless, zombies aren't a huge deal during the day, but at night, or if it's raining, they are really deadly because they will start chasing you in larger and larger groups because, and of course there's the hordes, which I'll get to later. But basically, all of these zombies variants allow for a very interesting scenarios every time you come across a group of zombies. Well, aside from the random shamblers you can find outside in the world, occasionally they're just annoying, but yeah. Wowsuch Gaming, a channel called Wowsuch Gaming, has a great video explaining the capabilities of these zombies. You should check it out, link below. He more so talks about, like, from a realistic scenario if you had to survive it, but I was talking more about gameplay mechanics within the game. So, yeah, it's two different perspectives on the same zombies, and he does a much better job explaining the capabilities of the zombies. So, yeah. The zombie mechanics lead to interesting gameplay, being a hell of a lot more interesting than if the zombies were just standard shamblers. In addition to the zombie variants, there are the zombie hordes that you have to deal with. These are massive groups that spawn in very specific locations throughout the map, but specifically in caves, mines, and large ruins. These are very dangerous if you are unprepared, i.e. if you have the wrong weapons, being snipers, or if you're out of ammo on your weapons in general. Pardon me. You generally won't be surprised when they attack you. However, because during the day they're not, around, so it's safe to scavenge and finish jobs. But at night, they can be really, really dangerous if you do not know where they are. Towards the end of the game, after you beat the game, or bit before then, you get a quest or a job where you need to destroy them all. It's an optional side quest. But after this, it shows you on the minimap, or on the map in general, where they will be, because they cycle between their sleeping spots, their feeding ground, and then their water spot. So it does help later on in the game, but while you're playing the game, it is a problem, because if you run across a zombie horde, when you are not prepared, you are doomed, essentially. During the day, again, they're in their sleeping spots, and they make so much noise that it's unlikely that you'll stumble upon them. Aside from this one that is in a nest, or behind a nest, which are nests are like infestation zones, and it basically just is a blocker for fast travel. and in order to destroy these infestation zones, you need to blow up the nests. But basically, there was this one where I blew up the nest, and there was a horde behind it, which was fun. And it basically just came down to, once I respawned, just running away as fast as possible. Um, it just basically, these hordes allow for some more interesting, scenarios when you're driving just randomly at night. But yeah, and these zombie hordes run from around 25 to 1,000 zombies. So, and you're forced to kill 3 of them in the main story. One of them is 600 zombies strong. Another one is 500 zombies strong. I believe the third one is like 750. I don't remember though. I could be inflating these numbers, but they really become a non-issue towards once you've beaten the game, because you have a Molotov, or not Molotovs, well, yeah, Molotovs, but napalm Molotovs, which you get through the main story. And then you get the crafting recipe for it. But enough about the zombies. Let's talk about what we really came here for: motorcycles. Because this is what this game is really nice and neat about, alongside the zombies. Motorcycles are awesome in this game because it allows for very, very interesting travel mechanics while traveling long distances, like with Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales. Sure, you can just fast travel, because you do have a fast travel, but using the bike, but the fast travel system uses the bike, and it's useful if you're lazy like me. But it's the motorcycle is so fun and satisfying to ride, that I would not be opposed to playing the game without using it. The bike does guzzle gas, and you need gas to travel anywhere because it's a bike. And if you don't, you travel at a snail's pace. This leads to very interesting scenarios, as this mechanic forces you to go through ruins that can be unsafe due to hordes or just, zombies, while looking for gas, to get your bike moving again. This mechanic may seem annoying at first, and it is, but it isn't a huge problem in my opinion, because it encourages you to go looking through the ruins that you wouldn't even think twice of, and it also allows for you to like pay attention to the world around you, and allows for the uses of the open world not used in, side quests and the main story. So in addition to this, the motorcycle also leads to very interesting and very good uses of the settlements in the game. By forcing you to do jobs and destroying infestation zones and hordes, you gain trust within the settlements. This trust meter allows you to purchase more items within the vendors. And by blocking off these motorcycle parts and good guns, it encourages the player to go do these side quests, which is something that stuff like Fallout and Skyrim should add. Or not Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls should add in the next games. It also encourages you to get to know the ideologies and the people living within these settlements, specifically their leaders, but regardless, because you can hear conversations between random NPCs basically saying, hey, this place, the hot springs fucking sucks to live in. Or the militia fucking sucks to work in. But basically, it allows for you to understand the doctrines and the ideologies of the settlements, alongside giving encouragement to do the side quests that aren't needed to progress any of the story. So yeah, it's just really interesting to me. I usually don't talk about the music in these reviews, but really quickly, I have to say that I really liked the music in Days Gone. It fits really nicely with the setting and themes of the game, with a folk kind of country sounding music alongside some more like rock, kind of thing. It's interesting, to say the least. The soundtrack works within the broken nature of the world, and while most of the time the music is pretty subdued, when it starts going, it is great. It's kind of the same thing is with Breath of the Wild, where the story or the music is pretty mundane until you get to the very climactic areas. But unlike Breath of the Wild, I think the music in this game is more interesting, and it's an actual thing that is a thing, rather than just, oh, here's the 15 billionth time you've heard that same piano jingle. So yeah, I think that it was a great soundtrack for this game, and it's a fairly short one, so it's interesting. Overall, Days Gone is a great game with a great world, great characters, and engaging mechanics. Fun and engaging mechanics. However, a lot of this game's jobs are fetch quests, and they're pretty boring. This is a problem because they seem to solely exist to pad the runtime. However, aside from that, most of the jobs are pretty enjoyable, particularly the ones where you need to chase down a target on a motorcycle. Another gripe I had with the game is that they brought in one of the problems with The Last of Us, in that in order to pick up items to craft that are required for crafting, you need to press a button, and it's even worse in this game because you need to hold the button a little bit. And this is really dumb because there's literally no reason not to pick up stuff, because there is no in-depth inventory system like in Resident Evil or something along those lines. Overall, I think I would give Days Gone an 8 out of 10 because the game is good. It's very good. But there are some major issues like the aforementioned fetch quests and really annoying mechanics, and that, like the picking up of items, that just really bugged me with this game. These problems are lower the score for me, unfortunately. I would have loved to give this thing a 9 or a 10, but it had so many problems for me, with me, that I just couldn't ignore it. Overall, you still shouldn't skip this game, seeing how there is supposedly a remaster coming for PS5. And of course, it works on PS5 if you have one, and it's pretty cheap, fairly cheap. It sits around $30, but I bought it for $20 for the PlayStation stores. I don't even remember what it was. I think it was their Thanksgiving sale, or I don't know. It might have been their Halloween sale. I don't remember, man. It's been a while. Yeah. Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe for more reviews, like this one and other videos. And as always, have a fantastic day and a fantastic life. Goodbye.